Hello, we're in the afternoon here in Timisoara, Romania with missionary Tim Tyler. And Tim Tyler is going to tell us a little bit about how God worked in their hearts, brought them here, a little history of the church, very briefly. And then if you would, Brother Tyler, give us an idea of the building we're standing in today and the opportunity that God's laid before you this afternoon.
I'm grateful to do that. 6 years in 2 weeks, we'll be celebrating 6 years as an independent Baptist church in Timisoara, Romania. And for 5 of those years, we've been meeting in a rented facility that is actually a business complex. And we've had our own access, about 200 square meters of space. But we've outgrown it. This morning we had 75 people show up, and it was quite crowded. And just another testimony, I heard our people saying, we need more space, so that's great. God showed us this building by driving by on the main boulevard, and it's been for sale. It's been empty for 5 years. And we called the number about 4 years ago. They were asking 450,000 euros, and that's humongous price. Last spring we called and they would drop it to 250,000, and that's when we started saying, let's see what can happen. Went to the owner, just happened to catch him coming into the country, said, here's our idea.
So the owner for this building is not Romanian,
he is Romanian, but he lives out of the country.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a partner with a German, and together they had this property, they wanted to sell it, get out of it, and he had come back just to think about restarting the business just because they didn't have anything happening. Well, we caught him on the day he came in. Just sat him down and said, here, would you be interested in leasing it to us with the option of buying it and be able to remodel it into a church? And at first he was in shock, and then later he said, you know, I think we could do that. And he's been willing to work with us in such a wonderful way. Even though he's not a Christian, he said to me, you know, you guys figured out how you want the contract to read, and I'll probably be for it. So God's really worked in his heart. We'll be able to rent it on a monthly basis, and 60% of the rent is going to go toward the purchase price.
Oh, wonderful. Can you give us an idea about what size this building is, and then roughly in a snapshot, some of the plans that you have for it? Is it going to be just renovating the auditorium at first, or is it going to renovate the entire building at first? And then an idea of what it's going to take you to make that next step, cost-wise and construction-wise.
Okay. This property has two main buildings on it. This is a steel building structure that they use for an auto shop. Behind it is an old house, and the old house has 3 rooms. The house and the building in front together equals twice the space we are renting right now. And we're able to get into it for just about $500 more a month than we're already paying. So we get twice the space, plus the property in the back will allow us to be able to have our own play areas.
Right,
and
I saw that yesterday.
This is going to be the auditorium. We're going to use a drive-through here for parking, and then we're going to put a wall in and remodel this into a seating area for the church, main office, and so forth. And there'll be 2 bathrooms, a handicap bathroom and a regular bathroom. They've already started to work over there, and Monday they start putting the walls in. This is our main construction project at this point.
This is first things first, this main auditorium.
Because we don't have any place to meet. Once we move from there, which we hope in 3 weeks we're going to move, we either just have to change our schedule and work it out to all meet in the smaller rooms of the house until this is done. And the contract is given us a price of about $20,000. That's about $25,000 is what it would be from euros, and that's for everything done. Heating and everything. We would like to get it paid off. We'd like to get the money and get it done as quickly as possible before winter gets in, because it's just too unbearable to be in the cold.
It makes it difficult to work in. So the first place we would do is start this main auditorium, get that to a place you have a place to meet. That would also give you the parking that you need and access. The main road I noticed out front, is that a main thoroughfare for this city? Is that easy access to your property here?
This boulevard is known as one of the main arteries even for the international highway. Trucks come down this road heading to Serbia and Belgrade. They come from Bucharest, they come from up in Western Europe. And so a lot of traffic comes here, 2 lanes each direction. Also 2 tram lines travel right here, just 100 yards down the road, or 2 intersection of 2 tram lines. Those 2 tram lines by themselves feed or service to about half of the city. So people could come to our church by just riding 1 tram.
Wow. And the population of Timisoara is about
450,000.
450,000 people. And you've been here when this church established in this town for about
6 years.
6 years.
We've been here missionaries for 8 years.
Fantastic. Terrific. That way we walk through, see some of the buildings, the rooms you have for the younger people and junior church ministries.
This door is actually a gate. It opens up, the whole thing will open up for cars to come through, and that's be replaced with a regular quality garage door. Now we'll just go for a back door. That works. We have cut in doors to each of the 3 rooms from the outside so the kids can have access. And we spent a lot of time the last 3 weeks just getting these rooms ready. That bathroom has to be finished, but we have, this will be basically used as an auditorium, junior church, until we're able to get the auditorium finished.
And this was already heated?
Yeah, that's a traditional wood-burning, what they call a soba. You can picture that. It's a ceramic heater. Heats with the smoke from the wood, and it'll radiate a good amount of heat and stay warm all night. But we have a central heating system with radiators as well that we have to get service to operate. There's a 3rd room back here, which will be for our smaller children, and they're still working in here. And the interesting thing about this project has been this house is really very old, probably in the 20s. And so some of the walls were even built with kind of a mud that's an oily mud, very difficult to finish. But we've got some guys that know what they're doing, and they were able to get it to look really nice.
As far as building permits and licensings and those kind of things, is that fairly easy for you to get here in Romania, or is it more difficult?
Well, our project, the contractor gave us a project. He put in the cost, it's about 870 euros is what he put in for all the permits, all the things that have to be done with the mayor's office. We have an architect who's done the drawings for us, and we're working together to get that all done. And when it's done, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a good drawing to it. This is the main auditorium they're looking for from the architectural plans. You can see the seating capacity. You can see where the pulpit and those kind of areas are. And we're looking at being able to seat 75 to 100 people.
Yep.
Terrific.
Yeah. So the main problem with the approval of the plans is the mayor's office can take up to 2 months. But another blessing God's given us is a lawyer that Brother Henry knows, another missionary that's been here for years.
Well.
He put me onto this lawyer. This lawyer says, hey, I'll do the contract for you for free. He also says I have some connections in the mayor's office. That's good to know because it helps. And so we're glad to have that opportunity.
So the other room here, then we can walk outside. You're going to have an outdoor playground opportunity for congregating for the young people.
This will be our parking. There's only going to be about 10 spaces off-street parking, but it's enough to satisfy our needs presently. And then in the very back, there's a nice orchard of fruit trees that are just positioned just right so we can still play games.
Perfect.
And this garage will come down. It's not going to be there. But there's some work to do. We're doing it ourselves, doing as best we can. We'd love a crew to come help us. This is one part that's in the future. It's already been planned. It's already been approved by the city to have a house here, but they quit however many years ago. And even though it looks a little dilapidated, it still is structurally sound and could be used to finish off another wing and possibly an apartment for a staff member or caretaker.
So as long as you don't change foundational structures, you still have approvals and you can go in and start working, not have to worry about other permits and those kind of things. Fantastic.
Goes all the way back to the fence back there. Nice yard area that we've not had access to except going down to some parks.
Terrific. Well, we saw the need this morning being in church services with you, running about I guess between 50 and 55 adults and then another 20 children. in the church services where they rent the facilities now. And so being able to come over to their own building and being able to expand and grow, we certainly see the working of God's hand on your life and on the ministry here. And we're going to pray with you and see how God answers that prayer in providing the funds and the labor to come and help get this building up and ready for the glory of God.
Well, we're so grateful for Valley Forge Baptist Temple and all the help that they've given to us, the support for prayer and finances and members that have been a part of this. You coming over here this weekend for 4 days is quite a surprise to our people that somebody would travel that far for such a short time, but it's been already a blessing, and I know that God's going to reward for your labors, and appreciate it so much.
We love doing it. Pastor Wendell and Mrs. Wendell send their greetings, their love to you, and our entire church family. They love you. We appreciate you being with us at the conference back in May. Glad you're back here, and we appreciate you holding the ropes and doing what God's called you to do here in Romania as we hold the ropes back in the United States.
Amen. To God be the glory.
Amen. We hope you enjoy this report from missionary Tim Tyler in Romania.